Welcome to Jakey 411. So today I'm going to talk about its 2025 Raiders season preview. So the Raiders made a lot of moves this year, but then I'm going to talk about the head coach. Uh, what do you think about Pete Carroll being the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders this year? I think it's a good move. It brings structure to the team where he's gonna help the Raiders get in the right direction where we can start having a winning season where we can start building a team. And the next one is I like to mention is Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was a good move by the Raiders uh, to hire him as a head coach. No, hire him as an offensive coordinator because he brings lots of experience where he was a head coach in the NFL and then he was in college football as an offensive coordinator and he won a championship with Ohio State. He brings a lot of knowledge and offense. So I think it's going to be a big benefit to the Raiders where he can keep their playbook simple, where he can get something going with the Raiders, where we can start seeing the offense and start making progress, or they can start getting in the right direction. And the next one I like to mention is Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham is a really good defensive coordinator with the Raiders, but the question I have is Pete Carroll going to be in deep communication with Patrick Graham at times this season, where he's checking up on the defense coordinator and seeing different ways where they can get the offense going, where they can start no, where they can get the defense going, where they can start having a dominant defense. What kind of plays are they going to do? What kind of blitz are they going to do? Are they mainly going to do zone defense? Are they going to mix it up out there where they're going to try to confuse the offensive team? It's going to be very interesting as well. So then, I would like to mention also too. What do you think about Geno Smith as a as a starting quarterback this year? Put down in the chat. What do you think about Geno Smith as a Raiders starting quarterback this year? Geno Smith brings a lot of experience in the NFL, where he had a good season with Pete Carroll, and he's very from Miller with the Pete Carroll system, and that was a good move for the Raiders to trade for him. So we're going to see how it goes this season. So the next player I would like to mention is Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty is a really good pickup in the NFL draft. Why? Because he's going to be in the starting lineup, and he's going to go out there and he's going to dominate. But then put in the comments, what do you think about Ashton Jenkins as a Raiders starting running back? Is he going to have a success this year? Is he going to get 1,000 yards this season? Comment or put it in the chat. What do you think? So then the next one I'd like to mention is Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is definitely a good addition to the Raiders team. Why? because he's such a good tight end where he values a lot is making sure he goes out there and he dominates out there. He makes sure he does his routes right. He makes sure he goes out there and he's puts a lot of effort out there. He's a really good tight end. I am very excited to see how Jim Kelly is going to utilize Pete, how he gonna utilize this Brock Bowers, or what kind of routes is he gonna do? What kind of plays is he? Where is he gonna put him on the field? Where he can be where he can be him best self, where he goes out there and he's just dominating and he's helping the Raiders offense have success this year. So then I would like to now I talk about is the offensive lineman. And the main Raiders main different moves to the offensive lineman, where they're putting different players in different positions, where they can says where they're going out there, and they're making sure they're playing at the best position as possible where they could succeed. But but then I would like to mention is Jackson Powers. Jackson Powers is a really real good offensive lineman. It was a good pickup when the Raiders drafted him, and he's a big time Raider fan. But the only thing is they're playing him right guard. I'm not sure if this is a good move by the Las Vegas Raiders to actually move him to right guard, or they should put him, or they should put him back in center. Comment down below. Uh, uh, what are your thoughts about Jackson Power playing right guard this season? So it's going to be really interesting and seeing how Chip Kelly gonna how he's gonna develop his offensive linemen so we could be able to improve so they could be able to improve on so they can be able to protect their quarterback and make sure we have success at offensive lineman, making sure we have the offensive lineman to actually help the running back as much as possible. But the next thing I am wondering about is like, are we going to be able to eliminate penalties out there? where the offensive lineman is where offensive lineman is not getting a lot of like holding calls, or they're not getting a lot of false starts out there. Are they going to be able to work together and then be able to trust their teammates? That's another good question, and we're gonna have to wait and see what happens this season. And then also, and it's gonna be interesting how the offensive linemen how they're gonna work with Geno Smith this season. And then are they gonna be on the same page too? Is a center and also Geno Smith, is he going to be on the same page where they have eye out there and they're having great communication out there, where they're making sure they're not getting penalties out there, where they're getting false starts out there, or they're getting multiple penalties out there? Are they going to be able to have deep communication? That is very important by the by Geno Smith to be able to have deep communication with his starting center, but not just the starting center, but he needs to have deep communication with his offensive lineman at times this season. Why? Because let me give you an example. Like if he's gonna change the playbook, or if he needs a timeout, or if he needs to be in communication with his offensive lineman, if he doesn't feel like something is right on the football field, or he feels like the play isn't right, he needs to be in deep communication with his offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, so they can be on the same page, and his offensive lineman as well. And then and then and then I would like to get back to Brock Bowers as well. Brock Bowers reminds me of a former NFL player, and he reminds me of Greg Olson. Brock Bowers. He knows how to play football well, but Brock Bauer does Brock Bowers is a really good tight end, and he reminds me of Greg Olson. But the only thing is, and he reminds me of Greg Olson, but he's not the type of player where he plays like Rob Gronkowski, where he goes out there and he just dominates, or he just goes in he goes in and steps on you, or he makes all these different moves. But and he reminds me of Greg Olson type of player, where he will go out there and he will show the team how much he will go out there and prove to the team, I will go out there and get as many yards as I can. I will get touchdowns. I'll do everything possible. So then somebody left me a question. What are your thoughts on Amari Cooper to the Raiders? That's a very good question. But but let me say this. Well, the Raiders drafted him, and the Raiders had him for a few seasons, and then he went to the Dallas Cowboys, and went Cleveland Browns, and he went traded to the Buffalo Bills, and then now the Raiders signed him back. Well, Amari Cooper is a really good, talented talented wide receiver, but I don't think this is a good move by the Raiders to actually sign him now. Why? Why? Because the NFL season is about to start soon. So then the Raiders going to be on their own when they play against the New England Patriots, but then I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to be able to learn the playbook, to be able to have a deep communication with the offense. No, with the offense coordinator. I'm not sure how well he's going to play for the Raiders this year. I'm not sure how they're going to utilize him. If they're going to play, if he can be a rotational type player. I'm not really sure, but I think this is not a good move by the Raiders to sign him. If they sign him like 2 months ago, then it would be a good move, because we need to help with the wide receiver group. Okay, so I got another question, and someone asked me, what do you think about Jacoby Myers requesting a train? Jacoby Myers, and he's a really good wide receiver. Last season, he did not drop any football. That is great, but but when he requested a trade from the Raiders, so I don't think the Raiders should trade him. But the only thing is the only thing is if he's willing to play for a whole season, and then the next off season, if he's willing to wait for his willing to wait for his contract, uh, that would be great. But if he's not willing to wait for that contract from the Raiders so he could be able to stay with the Raiders, and then, well, the Raiders should actually trade him, and we could get like draft picks for for next year, so we could be able to, and we can add more depth to the offense and to the defense. So that's are my thoughts about that move. And then the other interesting one I like to bring up is Kenny Pickens. And the Raiders traded for Kenny Pickens. Well, Kenny Pickens has a lot of experience in the NFL as a starting quarterback and also as a backup quarterback. But the thing is, I'm not really sure if he's gonna have enough time to be able to learn the offensive playbook, where he's gonna be able to work with Jim Kelly to be able to be on the same page, so he can be a solid a backup quarterback. So and the other point I like to bring out too is Aiden, Aiden O'Connell, and he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, and he injured his wrist. So I'm not sure if he can stay with the Raiders now since we traded for Kenny Pickens. So I'm not really sure if he can stay with the team or not. If the Raiders do trade him, I would just get draft picks uh, for for next year so they could be able to add more so they can add more young players to the team so they can utilize their young players as well. Now, now I would like to talk about is defense. Now talk about the defensive side. So Max Crosby, definitely gonna be the top. He's gonna be the top third defensive man in the NFL, where he can go after and he can rank up a lot of sacks and he's gonna get after the running back. But the question I have is, are the Raiders going to be able to utilize any other players on their team where they're going to be able to help out Max Crosby get after the quarterback, like it's Malcolm Coons, and he's coming back from a knee injury, so I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to help out, Max Crosby I'd be able to help out Max Crosby where he can get back to himself where he had 8 sacks out there. But then the other question I have is Tyreek Wilson. Tyreek Wilson. So then because the Raiders drafted him and they had him this is gonna be his third year with the Raiders. So then, like, are the Raiders gonna develop him? Are they gonna start to utilize him and figure out where he best fits with the Raiders on that defensive lineman? I'm not sure. We're going to have to find out this season, but I would definitely like to see the Raiders utilize him where he's able to go out there and be able to have a breakout season where he's helping out Max Crosby and he's helping out Malcolm Coons. So now the next question I got is no Christian Wilkins. Well, there's not much the Raiders could do for Christian Wilkins. So the Raiders drafted two defensive tackle, and we also have other defensive tackle on the team as well. And the Raiders have plenty, plenty of defensive tackles. Uh, or where the Raiders could utilize. So then I don't think the Raiders should add any more defensive tackle. They should just focus on the players they have right now at the defensive tackle position. And then also, I'm wondering too, is are the Raiders finally gonna have a breakout season where their defense gonna start dominating this year, where we're gonna have like the quarterback play really good this year? Are we gonna finally see the safety core or the safety group finally go out there and dominate out there? And then also the linebacker group too. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how Pete Carroll can Pete Carroll can be in communication with the defensive coordinator, and then there are two things I would like to see the Raiders eliminate this season on defense. One of them is penalties. I would like to see the Raiders not rank up a lot of penalties on defense. And then also I would like to see the Raiders try to eliminate as much as possible with missed tackles because the Raiders at times uh, when uh, when when I have watched a Raider game, there have been a few times where the Raider just miss the tackle. So I would like to see the Raiders work on their proper tackling out there as well. And there's one more I'd like to see the Raiders work on is team chemistry, being on the same page, and then not seeing players get wide open out there. I'd like to see the Raiders go out there and they're just working together as a team where we can finally have a six defensive team. Well, okay, I got a question is okay. So someone just asked me, do you think Raider will get a lot of penalties this season? Well, the Raiders have in the past got a lot of penalties, but this year I am hoping they're not going to be the team where they should rank up penalties. I don't want to see that, so I'm hoping not. I'm hoping the Raiders will not rank up a lot of penalties. If they do, I am hoping Pete Carroll and their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator is on the same page so they can find avenues where they can uh, where they can where they can eliminate as much penalties as they can. So then I got another question. I think Bowers ends up as the best tight end this season. Uh, thanks for the comment. No, I'll give that a happy face. No, no, no. Okay. Oh, thanks um, okay, so alrighty. Oh, that is another good question. Somebody said that. What do you think the Raiders' record will be this season? That is another good question. So I already did a video already, and then I went and had a guest on there, and we predicted the Raiders gonna be 11-4. So then, if you want to see that video, come to my channel so you can see that video. So and then I got one more thing to mention about the Raiders. Uh, Jamal Adams. He's going to be playing linebacker this season. I do understand the Raiders are trying to utilize him, uh, utilize him this year, where he's gonna try to help the defense be able to get after the quarterback, get after the running back. But but the other question I have is is he gonna fit well with the fits well with Pete Carroll system and then also in Patrick Graham system as well. But then I think the Raiders should do is they should put him safety. Why? Because when he was drafted in the NFL by the Seahawks and he played safety, so I think he should play safety. Like I'll give you an example. And give an example like it if the Raiders if the Raiders are drafting you, like if you play like safety, you're gonna play safety. I think the Raiders should put him safety. So and then I got another question. Um who do you think the best running back will be? That is a good question. I'm not sure. No, well, I'll say that Ashton Genty will be the best running back on the Raiders team. What is something you think the Raiders can do different this year that will benefit the team? That is another good question. Well, I would like to see definitely three areas where they can make improvement. Number one, Number one is being in a deep communication with your head coach and your offense coordinator and your defense coordinator, where they could be able to work together, where they are trusting their teammates out there. And the second, I like to see the Raiders make improvement is the offensive side. Like, let me give you an illustration. Like in there's been moments when I watch a Raider game and they like to throw the football behind the line of scrimmage. I do understand they're trying to get the football to the player quicker, but I would like to see the Raiders not do that this season. I would like to see Jim Kelly just keep the playbook the simplest as possible so we can be able to see improvement with the with the offensive side and then also the defensive side too. I would like to see the same thing as well. But then the third one is I would definitely want them not to do any penalties this year. Because I do not want to see the Raiders rank up a hundred rank up a hundred rank up 100 yards and penalties. Because I would like them to finally go out there and play well. Yeah, another question came in. How do you think we will go against the Broncos? That is a good question. So it's gonna come up to this. Will our offensive linemen be able to protect our quarterback? That is a good question. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping the Raiders will at least have a decent offensive lineman where they be able to protect that quarterback. But then Chip Kelly keeps the playbook the simplest possible, so we can be able to see the Raiders finally start having an offensive team. Okay, another question came in. Do you like Pete Carroll as a head coach for the Raiders? Well, I want to say this. Well, the Raiders went through so many different so many different head coaches. Where we had John Gruden, and then we had the New England Patriots on coordinator as a Raiders head coach, and we had Antonio Pierce. Now we have Pete Carroll. I am hoping the Raiders will actually finally find their head coach. Uh, finally find their head coach where he's going to be able to benefit benefit to the team. And then also Pete Carroll has a lot of experience in the NFL where he won a Super Bowl in the past, and he also had dominant defense out there, and he just had great success as a team. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to bring that to the Raiders team. Well, that's a good question, but I didn't really watch the Raiders in nine preseason game, but the only thing I would like to see the Raiders improve is deep communication as a team because there were moments out there where the Raiders left wide open players out there. I don't know why they did that, or the offensive side where they threw interceptions out there, or they're calling certain plays where the wide receiver wasn't on the same page, or the offensive lineman was on the same page. So I'm just hoping the Raiders will definitely improve as a team. Okay, thanks for saying that. I really appreciate all you guys coming on this live stream. You know what? I'm gonna give this a thumbs up first. Okay, okay. I'm gonna say that. Okay, okay, cool. There you go. Yay! I am totally happy. So okay, put down in the put down in the comment section. Uh, what do you predict the Raiders predict the Raiders season can be? Are they gonna make it to the playoffs? Or are they not? But I think we are. So comment down, and then another question I have is, uh, Geno Smith is he gonna be the starting quarterback for the Raiders? What they need? Comment down in the section as well. So okay, thank you for joining this live stream. Hopefully, I was able to answer your question well. Oh, and then someone put down, okay, well, the Raiders will be a wild card team. That would be awesome. I would finally love to see the Raiders make it to the playoffs. Last time the Raiders made it to the playoff was 2021. Oh, well, okay. Well, I predicted the Raiders will be is I think we will win 11 and we will lose 4 games. But then if you want to go and see that video, and the title of that video is Raiders Prediction 2025 season. So if you want to go and see that video where I give my prediction, that would be great. So then, okay, before I go, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and then also subscribe to this channel and talk to you all later. Bye now.